NSFW people who got their nudes leaked. How did it affect your life? Ex-girlfriend sent intimate photos of me to my friends after we broke up. They ended up going around my town. Some people sent them further on. Woke up about 2 weeks after it all began to a message from a girl from my hometown. 9 hours away. She saw them. Knew immediately it was me, birthmark on my chest. And got back in touch after 12 years of silence to see if I was okay. How did my ex-girlfriend affect my life by spreading my nudes? She got me my current girlfriend. My ex tried to blackmail me with my nudes. So I just posted them myself. Fuck you, Matt. Had an ex threaten 16-year-old me that he was gonna post some nudes of me. He was like 20 at the time. Long story filled with daddy issues and low self-esteem. My next message back was, "Oh, that's right, you are in possession of child pornography. I hope the cops don't find out about that." Never heard another word from him. None. My co-workers saw it. They moved on. I was at a party that got out of hand and there was a hidden camera there. There is video of me having sex, but fortunately I'm pretty far back from the camera and there is another couple more in the foreground. I'm recognizable. Especially for about 30 seconds. But only barely. I could plausibly deny it is me. 3 people have asked about it. With 2 I played dumb and said it wasn't me. They may or may not have believed me. It doesn't really matter. The other knows for sure because she recognizes the roomker and knows it has to be me. It's a little awkward, but there isn't much I can do about it. She seems to be keeping quiet about it. The guy from the couple in the foreground confronted the guy who hid the camera. Some punches were thrown. I was in my young, dumb teenager years in the height of digital cameras. And before cell phone cameras really displayed much more than a pixelated guess at an image. Was also gay in a town where there weren't really any obvious gay guys to speak of. So internet, Yahoo Messenger in this case, was the only space I could really figure out to act on that. And I was desperately seeking some acceptance that a guy could ever want me. Which meant of course that I ended up talking to a lot of older guys who preyed on a lot of younger guys looking for just that. The good thing. I was smart enough to not show my face on my nudes. The bad thing. The fact that my best friend left his student ID at my house and I didn't realize it was clearly visible on the floor next to one of the photos I took. The result? My friend spent some time wondering why he got random creepy MySpace messages from old creepy perverts. There's an old sewage department saying, if you got a nice drain pipe, there's no reason to hide it. I don't know if this counts because it was pre-internet and they certainly weren't leaked. I was a nude model for various magazines that focused on outdoor healthy naked lifestyles. I'd grown up thinking that bodies were perfectly natural and nothing to be ashamed of and worked my way through college posing. But one of the people in my dorm randomly stumbled upon a pictorial display in some obscure magazine and immediately informed everybody else. The immediate reaction was shock and horror, and one of my good male friends immediately offered to take me back home away from the scandal. I told him that I hadn't done anything wrong. That I wasn't leaving and that I refused to be ashamed. Honestly. As soon as I took that attitude, and everybody saw me take it, it became acceptable. So much so that I ended up winning a college award for the most unexpected act that year. I wasn't expecting anything like that, but I was, not nastily, called Angel of the Centerfold for the rest of my time at college. I had an ex show the one pic she had of me to all her friends and a few of mine. I like to think she did it to hurt me, but it kind of backfired for her. A couple of her friends said it was not bad, and months later at a party her sister brought it up and a friend who hadn't seen the pic said she felt left out, wanted to see. I was at a liquor store with my buddy and the cashier was some guy we sort of knew through friends. He started giggling uncontrollably and wouldn't tell us why. But finally told my friend that he had a photo of me on his phone. Turned out a high school boyfriend had taken a naked photo of me while I was sleeping and shared it with this guy and possibly others. So there was an underage nude of me around at least 2 years after it had been taken. It didn't affect my life much other than feeling violated as duck, and it makes me sick to think about it and think about who else may have seen it, etc. A couple of years ago, someone emailed a link to a gallery of my nudes to my parents. It was awkward. So far in this thread, most people are saying that it hasn't affected them much, which is actually way better than I thought. Went to school with a girl who had her nudes leaked way too many times to count. It was wild that this girl was so easy to send these photos. 10 years later, she's a nude model and making a ton of money doing it. You go, girl. My parents took nude pics of me and shared them among friends and family. They were so proud. I was an adorable infant. Not me, but my art teacher in middle school. She had been an adult model of some sort in her younger years. Every year, some student would inevitably dig up an old magazine with her in it and bring it to school. Kids would pass it around in her class. Good news is, every year there were also students who would end up coming forward and taking the magazine. We'd shame the immature kids just enough that they'd still giggle about it in their small groups, but never in a way that the teacher may see or hear. I assume she must have known it was happening a few times, but there was never a reaction on her part that I know about. She was a great teacher. NSFW took a nude pic of me sleeping. We were FWB. But when she said she wanted a real relationship, I politely broke it off. She ended up posting the pic about 10 years later. I googled my name one day to see what came up. I have a somewhat common name, so I sifted through several pages and found something called Misery Duck Me and then Duck Me Over. There were about 10 comments ranging from gross to ID duck him to is he asleep or dead? Did you duck a corpse? It was obviously her dorm room, so I knew who it was and promptly asked her to take it down. She denied it. I told her I had a pic of her too. She said to prove it. After hours of hunting down old zip drive discs, I found the pic and sent it to her. She promptly deleted the thread and apologized. We chatted and ended up being friends, no benefits. Actually, more like acquaintances in passing. We'll comment on each other's Facebook posts and chat for a few minutes at the occasional alumni function. But that's about it. I had a very old set of nude pics that I sent to one individual leaked on Tumblr about 4 years ago. Their process is pretty swift. They just have you send a picture of yourself with an identifier via email, and they wipe the original posted image, which deletes all shared versions. I knew exactly who did it, an ex-love interest, and of course they didn't respond. I have had non-nude pictures stolen from Instagram and other social media before and used on dating sites. But those are harder to find/get removed, and I honestly am not sure what they wish to accomplish other than obtaining photos of others. Edit. Both instances an Instagram follower notified me nicely. I had a Polaroid camera in high school. Cell phones didn't have cameras yet, and my best friend and I would often take pictures. Well, I decided to take some more risky photos, and one of them ended up with my high school boyfriend. He decided to take it to school to keep his parents from finding it, and apparently he lost it. People found it. People shared it. It was bad. Even my drama teacher apparently heard about it and asked my younger sister if it were true. Small town, it was really embarrassing. And my best friend was trying to cheer me up by saying at least no one is saying you look gross or fat. So I had that going for me. Once upon a time a guy contacted me on Facebook claiming people were posting my photo on a website, Anon.ib, attempting to get nudes. He also told me that because he is so IT savvy, he was able to hack the site and get all traces of my name and photo taken down, assuring me there were no nudes but that people really wanted them and could try to hack my iCloud. He wanted to make sure my iCloud was really secure, for which he would need my password. I realized he was likely the one who initially posted on the site seeking my nudes, so that he could earn my trust and have me give him my passwords while he looked like a white knight. Now, once in a while, I peruse the site and contact any of the girls I recognize or whose names are listed. Fuck that guy and people like him. Be careful, ladies. I pulled off of mine. Had some of mine dropped in a girly group. Short burst of popularity in her circle followed. Somebody tried to blackmail me with them after our date went poorly. They didn't bet on me leaking them myself, LMAO. I had taken some sexy boudoir photos for my ex. No full-on nudity, and luckily my face wasn't in them. He felt the need to share them on this forum he used to post in just to brag, and told me about it as if I should be flattered. He removed the post after I reamed him out, but oddly enough a few years later, when I was doing some research for a paper on anorexia, I was looking at these pro-anorexia blogs and found one of my photos on one. This girl considered me her inspiration. I asked her to take it down and seek help.